Hi, for today's teardown we have here a Telefunken Teleport 6. It is a military and police radio from Western Germany in the mid-60s. You will find on the German Wikipedia a quite complete page about this radio with a lot of informations. On the Wikipedia photos you can see it comes with some kind of a microphone attached here, but I haven't got this part. Instead I have it set on the controller box. So the radio comes on this lever holder thing. There is a NATO stock number on it. It is a fairly simple user interface. So it is a 1 watt transmitting power radio with 4 channels you can configure by modifying quartz. So we just have antenna plug here. Here is the matching antenna. Some kind of screw-on connector. A multi-pin connector here for the headsets or whatever accessories you will use with it. Battery level indicator, probably main function switch here. Channel frequency selector here. And at the bottom, access to the nickel cadmium battery. We have here the model number, as you can see, on the 4 frequencies which are written. But the sticker is a little bit damaged, so we can only read 2 of them, well 3 maybe. Okay, so we will start with taking apart the accessories. So we have this headset on this controller. So the headset, it is quite interesting. In fact, it is the same part, you just notice, because you can see on the ear pads, whatever you will call them, there is this cutout here. I believe it is for allowing to have glasses, eyeglasses with headphones without being annoying. So the cable from the controller box comes in here. So I will open this side just in order to see what we have, and of course my screwdriver is too big. So probably not much. You can notice this radio is completely made of plastic, which is quite unusual for military grade equipment. I have seen headphones for tank drivers which were made of die-cast metal, but this for some reason is entirely plastic, maybe because they were trying to make something light. Oh, we have actually some electronics in it and little speaker behind, so I will not lift this PCB because the speaker is probably fairly generic. So you can see we have a built-in rubber seal here all around, and the PCB with a BC178 transistor, tantalum capacitors, fairly generic stuff in fact. So is it a power amplifier for the speakers? Probably. I will open the other side because the other side we will be able to see directly the speaker, I guess, with no electronics, or maybe in fact it will be the surprise. It is fairly quick because, oh yes, so just speaker in with a plastic cap at the back, and you can see how they did attach the terminals here of the wire into the plastic. Quite interesting. On the cover we have a very nice Telefunken logo and not much else. inside this box, so we have volume control, NATO stock number here, a transmit button, or maybe a call tone or Morse button, something like this, with rubber caps over them. This I do not know what it is for. And we have 4 screws, so while I am removing the screws you can have a look at the strain relief on the cable. Very nicely made with a spring around the cable. But sadly they did not do the same thing on the other side. So it is quite sad. So there is a clip here for attaching it to your belt or to your suit or whatever jacket you are having. And we have a wall circuit board in this, in fact, with rubber seal around, with piece of foam at the back of the cover in order to, this is coming off, in order to probably keep the PCB in place, because I do not see any screw or anything, but it is not coming off. Oh, maybe not. Yes, it is coming off. In fact, quite interesting. We have a connector, so you can see here all the wires arrive in this and are distributed on this connector mainly. Also at the back here we must have 2 switches on the potentiometer behind this mess of wires. You can see we have several diameters of wires in this main wire loom, so maybe it is controlling in some way the power of the radio. We have this kind of black duct tape, which is not sticking anymore, by the way. Just here to keep a little bit the cable in place with, I am totally out of frame, with here it seems like, yes, look, in fact we have a piece of string or cord inside the cable, and they are all attached here, so if you pull very hard, in fact it will pull on this and not on the wires themselves. And here we have circuit board with plastic transistors, more tantalum capacitors, little ferrite core transformer, and ERD or Aero, ERD, it is the brand, very nice polyester capacitor probably, or something like this, or polystyrene capacitor. And it is on, we just have contacts here. These ones are not used, by the way. Oh, see, oh yes, they are used in fact in here. You have contacts built in the plastic shield, and you will plug in them. It is quite interesting design. So it looks like this PCB is designed for easy replacement, in fact. And it is quite annoying because the seal is stuck. Okay. So here we are for the controller box. Now we will have a look inside the radio itself. So opening the radio is fairly simple. Just 2 screws. You have to remove the button on the side here, and the bottom screw in the middle. And as you can see, it is even a captive screw, and the wall content is coming out. There is a nice seal around the top part here. And here is what we have inside. So a lot of space is occupied by the battery. It is a 12 volts at 0.5 ampere hour nickel cadmium, but this one has a date code of July 1989, so it was replaced obviously. In this cover here, this thing, we have a fuse, and it is the release for the battery, in fact, which takes clips in this metal sleeve. So here are how the electronics look like. We have a circuit board here with a bunch of aluminum cans, probably sets of filters. Very old school germanium, I think, Telefunken transistor. IF something. We have Motorola 2N3553 here. And the PCB seems to be silver plated. More electronics here with mainly the frequency selector switch. And you can see we have two sets of 4 quartz, which you can access by removing this clip, and it will allow you to easily modify your frequency. It is interesting how they didn't make the contacts here for the quartz. It is 2 pieces of wire soldered on the PCB, and it will grab the quartz leg, and they did place a little plastic plate over it with little holes quite unusual. And of course you have to put in place this thing to keep the quartz in place. We have 4 adjustment variable capacitors here. The main frequency selector makes contact directly over tracks on the PCB. Not sure how you will see it, but there is actually a wiper on the tracks on the PCB. Some temporary contact here, and more adjustments, obviously. And here we have a bulk of the electronics. You can see a nice set of little PCBs, d'overboard, in fact, on the main card, with very small capacitors and resistors all the way. We have Telefunken AF137 transistors here. This must be some kind of filter assembly. No idea. And we have in fact more electronics in the front, but I really do not see how you would remove the front piece, because there is no screw whatsoever in here. Nothing you can undo, even the button. I do not see how you could remove the button here. Or maybe it is just a matter of pulling, okay? But even if I undo this nut, I do not believe it will allow to remove the whole assembly. So I can see some screws at the bottom here, but they are not possible to reach because of all the other stuff in front of them. So I wonder how they did put this together. There is a little auxiliary PCB here with this must be little capacitors, more of these old school transistors. There is indeed a circuit board in the top part of the radio, one more here, and here a little relay in a socket, shielded relay by Siemens with obligatory schematics and nice glass insulated legs as always, and it is clipped inside here like so in a little socket, but it is quite tall in fact, and for sure without this clip here it will not stay in place, but even if with a clip, I guess if your radio gets a shock it may get loose, and I am not able to reinstall this properly. Very interesting. Here we are, maybe. Yes, more or less, but it is still not very good, this connector. You can see here the battery, spring-loaded battery contact. This is good. It is attached on this kind of weird plasticky material with some kind of fibers inside. Not sure how it will show on camera, but it is a weird material. Maybe it is loaded with asbestos. And here we are, in fact. So one thing I could do is try to power on the radio and see if we get any sound. I will not transmit because I am not a ham radio operator, but at least I can try to power on the radio, because while preparing the video I did notice in fact the fuse in here was blown, so I did replace it. I do not remember if I already tried the radio previously. But I guess it is something I can do. So I need 12 volts power from my trusty Russian power supply. Okay, I will attach the plus 12 volts here, the ground anywhere in fact, on the metal frame. I check the polarity at least, okay, and I can try to power it. The indicator here at least is working, and a little more power. I have sound. So I need to try to select other channels. Second one. So it is the same on every one of them. Nothing to listen. Just noise. This must be call sign, call tone, and this is transmit. With only 1 watt, by the way. It is not a lot, but at least we have audio. So it must be in a working condition, this thing. Yes, in fact we will have output only in the third position. Maybe this one is for recharging the battery, and this one is completely off, because here you will activate the indicator. And of course there is nothing to listen to. Okay, So it will be all for this radio. I did, there is something else interesting. Here I did just notice these little assemblies. I need to zoom on them in clear plastic. I guess they are probably adjustable inductors with a little shaft in the middle. You could turn and you could adjust it. Yes. Also here 4 legs transistors. Quite interesting on this little vertical PCBs. Okay, so it will be all for this radio. I will put this back together. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye bye.